All right, what up, what up? It's your boy G-Wiz.
And Mr. G-Wiz.
And this is episode 7 of the I Need Love Q&A podcast radio show, even though we ain't filled out the paperwork yet for the radio.
We've gotten it though, right?
We've gotten it. We've just been busy doing other stuff. But we got it.
Okay. Well, maybe that should have been sent to me.
Yeah.
And I would print it out.
You're more the admin than I am.
I am definitely the admin and you're the entertainment.
I'm the everything else. So what's up, everybody? We hope y'all doing good. We dropping audio from the Bodio here with my wife, where we kick the funky stylistics.
What?
People was missing us, man. We kind of late on this episode, but
I'm sorry. But maybe this is a 2-in-1 episode. We got a lot of good things to talk about.
Yeah, we do.
Not maybe.
Shout out to everybody who hit us up and was like, man, what are y'all doing? I follow y'all. Y'all didn't drop an episode yet, so.
Yeah, so this is going to be like
here
a 2-in-1.
Yeah, here it is. So.
Life kind of got away with us. I'm sorry.
Yeah, how was your week?
Not bad. Got back in the gym. Feels good. I'm trying to get used to that new schedule a little bit.
Yeah, you been on your 4 a.m. workout?
My 4 a.m. workout. It's the only way I can get there.
That's great. It's very motivational.
Yeah,
I can't lie.
I get there, I come home, I shower, I get the kids ready for school, and then I get to be home with them after school where I'm not late and a child is not whining at me. And
I've been up creating a little bit too late. I don't know what really got me on the late schedule was staying up doing all that trimming.
Yep.
And then from there, I just haven't been able to go back.
I know. Don't fall back, man.
I know, man. I was staying up till 6, 7 o'clock.
I know. When I was getting up for work, I'm like, what are you doing up? Get your ass in bed.
Hey, man. It's not going to trim itself. So, taking care of my garden duties.
Yep.
You know, be careful what you ask for, man, because you will sure get it. Shout out to Rick.
Oh, I love you,
because,
Rick.
Man, you know, this garden was dedicated to you, man. I think you'd be very proud of what your boy accomplished, man. So
I miss him.
I do too, man. I appreciate you showing me the game, how to, cultivate.
Right.
And it's cool, man. It's I liken it to life because it's like planting seeds and nurturing.
And seeing someone else grow with it.
Yeah, and seeing something grow, cultivating something at the end of the day you could harvest. So that was real cool.
Very cool.
Yeah, so we got some cool topics this week. Again, shout out to everybody who hit us up. First thing I want to kind of dive into is, can we talk about the school thing?
Sure.
That happened at the school?
Yeah.
All right.
Sure. Well, if we don't,
Well, you give the spiel.
So, at our daughter's school, apparently there was an issue with a 5th grader, and I don't know what was going on with these kids, and I guess the topic of Fortnite came up, and they're like, hey man, what's your handle?
Damn, video games, man.
Right? Apparently it's fascination. And the kid didn't want to give out his handle. So another kid gave it out. And so this 5th grader does the shooting aspect to that kid, and apparently makes a comment that he can get into his dad's safe.
Is it like the finger gun kind of thing?
I think so. And
I think so too. I think that's what it was.
Let me prefacing that we were not there when it happened.
Yeah.
This is what's gone on the phone tree of the parents.
Yeah. We got message disinformation.
But it's what's so kind of surprising when from the person who told us and another friend of ours who we were calling to make sure they were at least aware of the situation. It was surprisingly the same information.
Yeah.
Like there wasn't really embellishment of it.
Yeah.
So that was kind of surprised because when you're kids, you play that telephone game and you realize that things can be modified as it goes on. But the gist of it fairly much stayed the same, and was under the impression that the student has had some behavior issues.
Right.
Where I think I'm under the impression he's punched another kid, he's yelled profanity at other people at school, and possibly have been suspended more than once on campus.
He's a little badass boys.
And from when I was described to me, I'm thinking, oh, this poor kid, he needs counseling. He needs maybe not supervision, but it sounds like he might have other frustrations.
Yeah, definitely.
Or maybe not understanding how to control his emotions or how he feels about things, and he just reacts.
Yeah.
So the student was suspended, and I feel bad for her principal because next morning she was verbally attacked by another parent who had probably nothing to do with the situation, saying the kid should have gotten expelled. And even when the police showed up, he got on their nerves too.
Yeah.
So
he got on the police nerves.
Yeah, because he apparently was calling the police officer a pretty boy.
No.
Because some people think that your SRO is there just...
What's the SRO for people who don't know?
School resource officer.
All right.
That they're just...
Break it down now.
They are actually sworn police officers. So they went to the academy, whichever department they're in, whether it be the sheriffs or the local police. But they are a full-fledged police officer.
Gotcha.
So the one at my school where I teach at, he just went back to rotation, so he's no longer our SRO. So we've got this new guy who's being our SRO, which is... I teach high school, so I believe most high schools, or at least in our area, have one on campus all the time.
Right.
Where elementary school, you shouldn't have it. And that's the part that just kills me, that this kid is a 5th grader already needing to be placed in another high school.
Yeah, I found it very interesting. That one thing, and also the fact that we had the way that we found out about it. Right. I thought was interesting too. That I don't think you should find out anything about your child's safety or what happened at school like that from another person other than a school representative. Really.
Did you know that they called morning, like our kids? We have to leave. The kids have to be at school by like 7:55. Right. We got a call about 7:15 saying, yes, there was an incident last night. The school is safe. Everyone's safe.
Yeah, I was asleep.
I know. I just don't know if I told you that.
No.
But I think for the concern of all the parents, unfortunately, fortunately or unfortunately, depending on how you look at it, the boy was expelled.
Yeah.
And he does need a change of environment. And I pray that this kid is getting some counseling. I really hope that, so he understands.
Right.
And you know what the surprising thing is? He's actually not white, that I found out. And that was surprising because most of these incidents have been happening with white boys.
True.
And he's not. So I found that very interesting because it was very different because, you see him with a privileged white boy.
Yeah.
And it wasn't. That was a shocker for me.
Yeah, I don't think it's not even a race thing as much as it is sometimes a class thing too. You know what I'm saying? Like people from certain demographics or just rich people, period. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Entitled or children feel entitled or...
Which is crazy. Well, parents need to step in on that aspect.
It seems like it's normally that kind of fits the description of most people who try to pull something like that. But
right. But, the next day that we found it when I was at work, I was trying to look up our ed code and some of that. And I know I tried to reach out, but I wasn't able to connect with my vice principal because if he was in high school, he would have definitely been at my school or my type of school. But then hearing that they go through a hearing if some kid's expelled. So it's like you're working at a normal job. You can't usually just fire someone on the spot without having all your ducks in a row. Usually you say, why don't you come back tomorrow at 3 or something like that for your next shift. And then you hand them their walking papers.
Right.
It's basically what happened where they suspend them and then they go through the information and then whether or not they can actually expel him.
Right. What I also think is interesting is having to explain to your child what's going on too. In a situation like this at an early age, because we kept her home. Yeah. For the next day, because we just didn't want to take any chances. Me, I don't mess around. I'm like, I'll hear something like that. I'm definitely taking all precautions to be as safe as possible.
I wasn't worried about the rest of the week. I was worried about Monday when the kid
that too
could have potentially come back on a campus. That's what I was worried about because that day after, there's going to be heightened people on. Teachers going to be more aware. Yeah. Principal, facility people, if they have their SRO come around, that's when it's heightened. It's when it's no longer heightened was my issue.
Yeah, we kind of took the day to explain to her what was going on too, though, and it's why you shouldn't do certain things too.
And surprisingly, our daughter's in 2nd grade. He's a 5th grader, and they take different lunches. So 4th and 5th take it together, and possibly 3rd. I know they change it around depending on the class sizes.
Yeah.
So they're not in the same lunch period, which I think if they did have the same lunch period, it might have been more potentially gossiped about. But since they didn't, and not very many of the students have older siblings in that age range that, or at least her class, that it wasn't too gossipy, it sounded like.
Yeah, so I don't know. Who knows, man? I don't know if this kid was ever bullied on or picked on or just raised up in a different kind of environment to where he feels like he has to threaten people or be a bully himself. I really don't know the situation, but
from what I've heard, it seems like unless he was bullied somewhere else before coming here.
Yeah.
But it didn't sound like he was probably more of an aggressor. But maybe that's his defense mechanism that he just lashes out when he feels threatened.
Yeah. So
I really hope that kid is getting help that he needs, and he's doing better.
Definitely needs it. So.
It makes me sad that he's a 5th grader having to go through this.
Yeah, this early. But it's also a good thing that it's caught this early too, though. I feel like, because you don't want this situation to happen in middle school, high school. It could have been a lot worse.
Right, and I really hope that he does get the help, because if it goes unchecked, we may be revisiting something similar down the road. So
parents out there listening, make sure y'all tell your kids that, threatening people or making threatening gestures towards people.
Yeah, because it's deemed a terrorist threat now.
Yeah, you can go to jail.
Yeah.
Maybe. Can you go to jail?
Depends what the offensive where you are.
If you threaten somebody's life, you can go to jail.
If you do it to a cop, usually for a principal, it's like defacing property, threatening an administration, you automatically get suspended.
Yeah.
But most of the time, because you are a minor, and depending on depends also if you're on probation.
Yeah.
If you're more of high school, that's when you'd be on probation, and if you had priors or whatever you were doing before.
Right.
So, or whatever got you there. So.
Yeah, I think I don't know, man. We in an age where kids, I don't know what it is, but they fall into these dark places, man. I don't know if it's the internet. I don't know if it's social media.
They are talking about sometimes people's self-esteem, like kids, is a lot lower because of social media.
Like you feel like your life is inadequate because of what you see somebody else doing online, which is completely
and we're not connecting
crazy.
With people. And how we connect to think people, like we base or kids are basing their self-value based on how many likes they get or comments they get on certain photos.
Yeah.
And it's that they're also not communicating in person.
Right.
Or in when
social skills are just no social skills present at all.
There's some, but they're a lot lacking. That's what I see. It's not as much as we were, because we didn't have that.
We was forced to talk. We had to talk to each other. Right,
because we only had a landline to talk to.
Right. Yeah, so, that's true.
Text messaging really didn't come out until we were graduating high school.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I don't know what it is. Hopefully these kids can get it together, but they'll definitely sink into dark places, man. Drug use and depression too. That was one thing we was going to talk about.
Yeah, depression's a big thing.
Yeah,
and it can affect anybody.
I think it affects anybody and everybody because you ain't nobody happy all the time.
Right, and it's just, and usually sometimes it's also just a chemical imbalance.
Yeah,
where that gets you in here, but it's whether you can also pull yourself out.
Yeah.
Of your depression, or what you do to change to get out of your depression. Yeah,
I think kind of going back to what we were saying about people thinking that their lifestyles are or their lives are inadequate because of what they see on social media. Let me be the first one to tell y'all, a lot of the stuff that y'all see isn't even real.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
It's perception.
Fake. For real.
It's how, and it's all, you think about filters or how they angle something that makes someone look better, or there's one we were I think it was when we were at our friend's house when we watched the football game, they were talking about filters.
Yeah.
That there's some that just, if you're not white, there's things that just lighten your skin up.
Yeah, there's a lot of different things out there, for real.
But it does it like naturally for the most part. And I'm just like, wait, what?
That's wild. But
and
man.
That screws with your head though.
All this stuff is fake, man. Let me be the first to tell you, I've been in the entertainment industry for a long time, man, and it's not real.
No.
That's not even real. No. You know what's real and what's fake.
Right.
You should know what's real and what's fake.
I think the only time I ever use filters if I do like a black and white or a antique look on something.
Well, I don't even mean filters like that. I mean props.
True.
You know what I'm saying?
That's true. Forget about the props.
Like, you really got to look at this stuff and take it for what it is. Everybody's trying to sell you something. You know what I'm saying? Taking
pictures from the cars that may not actually be yours.
Exactly. Like, come on, man. Stop it. But back to depression. I think I've been depressed before.
I should have had counseling in high school.
Yeah.
To be completely honest, I should have.
You never talked to even like a guidance counselor?
No. Well, the guidance counselors at school were just like counselors for your classes that I thought, I don't think they actually had they probably did have a psychologist. Well, even then, like you're just your guidance counselors for getting yourself in college.
Yeah, I guess so. That's true.
But, on my campus we have...
My counselor was pretty cool, though. We talked about all kind of stuff.
Oh, my God, I was an old white guy that ended up retiring the middle of my senior year or right before my senior year.
I forget her name, but she was legit, though.
Yeah, but it's
Shout out.
It's great that we have a wellness counselor at our school.
Yeah.
We also have our psychiatrist on campus, and they're in and out because they don't need it full time. And our school counselors, quote unquote, and our admin, they are like, they're the psychologists.
True.
Or additional psychologists where kids can talk out their feelings.
Yeah. I think everybody bouts with some sort of depression. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's light or whether it's heavy. I know me personally, it's like it's kind of like the stock market, man. It goes up and down.
Yeah, it does.
Some days you're good, some days,
And it goes with weather too.
You think so?
Some of it can be like when it's gloomy.
Like gray skies.
Yeah, Rick always didn't like Seattle because of so much gray skies that.
Yeah, you know what they say about that too. That's crazy.
Right, and they can get you a little bit more in a funk.
Yeah.
So it kind of all depends on your perception of things. Where, we've had suicides in our family before, and it was our cousin Rick who was a quadriplegic, and he wasn't born that way. He ended up having an accident, I think in his late 20s, early 30s.
Late 20s, I would say.
Late 20s? I can't remember.
Yeah.
I remember the year, but I have to do too much math right now to figure out how old he actually was.
Cool dude. God bless.
I was surprised how long he lasted.
Yeah.
Because even with becoming quadriplegic, a lot of things can have accidents, bed sores, UTIs.
Yeah.
Or kidney, and then it's going to other infections. But usually he had a good lifespan for being quadriplegic from an accident.
You think the food that we eat sometimes is linked to depression too?
Of the
stuff that's in the food.
The sodas, the fatty foods.
Right.
It messes with your chemical imbalance, which I think is part of your depression too.
Yeah, we got to get Dr. Lauren Powell on here. A good friend of mine. Well, I don't know her personally. I know KP, which is KP is a colleague. Shout out to KP. He's actually here in LA right now, but that's all that thing. But anyway, his wife is a doctor, and she's all about using food as medicine.
Oh yeah, they say food can.
So we gotta get her on here. So
we do. There's a lot of things that people say. Oh, these foods can cure some things. Okay, fair warning. Certain foods cannot actually cure certain diseases.
But they can keep them at bay.
They can keep them at bay. They can keep they can keep other things running more smoothly. Right. Your balance of life and everything like that.
They can definitely prevent things.
They can.
They
can, but I don't believe that there's any set of foods that can actually 100% cure anything on everybody. You know what I'm saying? There's no magic pill. There's no magic food.
Shit, man. You keep it at bay. You keep it away enough. That's enough prevention for me.
That's prevention, but not if you have it.
Yeah.
That's different from if you get something.
Yeah.
Or
even if you have something, some of the stuff that you can eat or take will keep it to
under control, I think.
Under control, or even make it digress.
Right. Because I had a girlfriend who was also diagnosed with RA, and she changed up her diet, and she was able to get rid of it. And I think for those aspects where you don't have especially if you don't have it in your family, something small like that, it probably could be done with diet and exercise and what you're putting into your body. But unlike for me, I have several family members who also have the same disease.
Right.
But that it's more in your genes on those aspects.
Yeah.
Like for you, you have type 2 diabetes in your family.
Yep.
Do you have
high blood pressure,
cholesterol issues?
Man, you name it. Probably got all that in there somewhere. I'm from the South, man. I was eating terrible.
I know, but for you, by eating better,
right,
you reduce your chances, and if you get your body moving, you have less likely to get those things.
That's true. Shout out to me. I've been exercising in the morning, going out taking my walks with the family.
Woo-woo.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Enjoying life.
Enjoying the fresh air.
The fresh air, the greenery, the crisp, brisk air in the early morning.
It's not that early, honey.
It's early for me. So I'm excited about it.
I know. I liked our oldest. She's like, can we go walking tomorrow, please?
Yeah. So, yeah, I've been, like I said, I've been depressed before, whether it was after, maybe a death in the family or certain relationships might end that kind of leave you in a dark place. Mm-hmm. There's lots of different factors that could contribute to depression. I try not to stay. Actually, last time I was in a depressive state, I think was after my car accident.
Oh yeah. Well, because you hurt so much.
Yeah, not only was I hurt, but I couldn't do anything.
Right. You weren't allowed to work. You weren't allowed to.
Yeah.
You actually couldn't lift. You could hardly turn your neck.
Couldn't lift. Couldn't turn my neck. Every time I tried to sit and even think about recording something, my neck would just flare up. It was just one of the most frustrating times ever. I couldn't play with the kids. Couldn't have good sex. All of that factors in, though. You know what I'm saying? So it puts you in a dark place, man. And, they got me on all these pills. And I'm like, yo, this is crazy.
Well, the pills were probably to help out your pain, man.
They were, but still. I'm not even really a fan of taking pills like that, especially painkillers. I've lost friends to overdoses from drugs and painkillers, stuff like that. So I try to stay away from it. Keep it to a minimum at least.
Yeah.
Half a dose.
Yeah.
So I don't overdose.
Right.
Speaking of overdose, it's crazy out here with that as well.
It's crazy everywhere. I would think it's more, the East Coast has a huge problem with opioids.
Yeah. There's a lot of heroin play going on around here too. You know? You look at the community, you be like, oh, this is a nice community, nice area. But shit, this is some of the worst ones.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, I just don't notice it.
Yeah. Kids, adults. A lot of people doing on the low.
Oh, I know.
Undercover, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah. They're functioning.
Yeah, functioning addicts out here. And everywhere.
Right.
So, man, y'all leave the dope alone, man. I know it's hard to get off the dope, but...
Well, and also being in California, we're a big capital for making meth, too.
Yeah, that's true.
I think San Bernardino was the biggest area for labs for a while there.
Something like that. So I'm starting to kind of become an advocate of just trying to help people who need, words of wisdom or encouragement or just positive vibes, because a lot of people need it. Hopefully some people can listen to our show, maybe trip out on some of the stuff we say and use it. You know what I'm saying? We know some of y'all gonna be parents soon if you're not already parents out there. So this is a good game for y'all to soak up. You're gonna need it one day. Speaking of that, I had a friend call me up. I don't want to say his name, but shout out to the homie down in Jacksonville. But he called me up and he was concerned about his daughter's speech. He was feeling like she was delayed in speech and stuff like that.
And amazingly now, it can be so minor.
Yeah. I thought it was really cool that he thought of me, though, because he was like, man, I was sure trying to think of some of my partners, man, who got toddlers. I couldn't think of nobody. Then I thought about you, so I hit you up. And little did he know, we went through the same thing with our child, too.
Yeah. Our oldest loved her pacifier. Yep. She was attached to it.
Yeah.
And she wasn't really verbal.
Right.
But 6 months, we was forced to get rid of that pacifier. And she went to speech therapy.
Yeah.
And we had a great speech therapist.
Absolutely.
She's fantastic. I actually check in with her, or I follow her on a couple things.
Yeah. Shout out to her. She was really cool.
Yeah. But 6 months later, we were starting to get a little jabberbox.
And now she would not stop talking.
Oh, she got so mad at me tonight. She's like, Mom, but what about this? Mom, what about this? And I'm just like, go to bed.
Yeah, so I think it's I kind of brought this up to say that it's a common thing and that you shouldn't be alarmed. Fellas, if you're out there, moms listening, I think there's a point in time where you'll know if your child is that's not necessarily delayed, but might have some sort of handicap.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And you can check with your doctor for stuff like that. But
yeah, definitely check with your doctor. Because
when it comes to normal speech delay and they, your kids respond to stuff and, stuff like that, you don't have to worry about anything, man. I think the one thing that we have to worry about as parents is kind of cutting the cord and making the child talk.
Right.
Not saying the words for them. Because we quick to do that,
Well, we got to be careful there, though, too.
Why you say that?
Because our middle nephew we weren't sure with him.
That's what I said, though.
But they were able to catch it before, too. We're actually his preschool.
Oh, yeah.
They thought it was more of a hearing issue.
Right.
And so they went through all this thing, and we found out he's autistic.
Yeah.
But at first, and we were thinking, well, maybe is he regressing because she was pregnant with her third?
Right.
And it ended up not being that. But we were, I won't say lucky, but she had a lot of people in her life that were aware of the situation that looked out for him.
We were very lucky.
And he was diagnosed like at 18 months, 2 years, which was fantastic because it's great for that. For autism, it's great to get checked out early.
Absolutely. So,
and it's interesting to see. I briefly saw an article that was talking that potentially being on the autism spectrum could happen during like the second trimester of your pregnancy, which I thought was really interesting.
That is very interesting.
Where they can see whether or not it might be genetic or not. So it's research that's not 100% concluded yet, but it's interesting to see potential things to look into.
Yeah. What do you think about when people say vaccines cause stuff like that?
I think a lot of doctors are more aware of those type of things where they are spreading out when they get certain ones better. I think if you're not predisposed to it, like if in the family you could be a carrier, then you get a vaccine that could trigger it. I had a friend who ended up getting a flu shot and she had such a reaction. She has alopecia now.
Damn. That came from a flu shot?
From her flu shot.
That's crazy.
But it doesn't affect everyone. We've gotten flu shots and nothing happened to us.
Right.
It's part of your actual makeup that has a reaction with it.
Yeah, so how do you determine or how do you know how your child is going to react since they're such a young child,
Right. I really do believe that a lot of our...
Granted, the doctors ask a lot of questions.
They do. And I think we need to have cleaner vaccinations.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of sometimes junk in some of those. Like, she can't take the flu shot because it has eggs in it or something like that. So I don't know how it's processed, but she can't have it.
Yeah. A lot of people are just so against vaccinations, though. Like, they're like, I will not vaccinate my child. It causes disease and and handicaps and all this other stuff.
I think even Jenny Garth was on that big push of saying vaccines do that.
Jenny Garth?
Not Jenny Garth.
Jenny McCarthy?
McCarthy.
Yeah.
Sorry.
That's right. Her son has autism. Yeah.
But they found out, and I think she's gone back to saying it doesn't cause it, but she's now an advocate for having cleaner vaccinations.
I got vaccinated. I feel like I've been cool.
Because we didn't. I don't think we're predisposed to it. I think if you might have something... hereditary issues in your family, possibly. And talking with your doctor that you're concerned about some of these things.
Yeah.
Because the whole measles issue here in Orange County a couple years ago, Disneyland.
Yeah,
Someone came through and wasn't vaccinated. And
dropped off the measles in that thing.
Huge outbreak. And it's hard because there's a lot of kids there who aren't old enough to be vaccinated for that.
Left your ass itching.
and some babies got the measles, and babies can die from having measles.
Wow.
But if you think about, we probably went to those chickenpox parties as kids.
I didn't do that, but I heard of it.
Right, but that was our era where one kid had the chickenpox. Okay, let's have a party so the kid can have it and get rid of it.
Which is crazy.
But now as adults, since we've had chickenpox, we're open to having a gnarly case of shingles, which is much more difficult for adults, especially when your age, to get rid of. Not get rid of, but it's harder on our systems.
Yeah.
It's a gnarly circle, some of these things are. But now they have a chickenpox or vaccine for it. Yeah. So they won't, if they don't ever get it, they won't have an issue of shingles because they don't have the virus in their system.
Yeah. That's true. Again, shout out to my brother from another mother and sister down in Jacksonville.
We love you.
For hitting me up with that. That was really cool, for sharing that. And I'm glad I could be of some insight to it.
Yeah.
What else we got to talk about? You been watching any TV shows? You watched the Mayans.
I watched the Mayans. Murphy Brown came back on.
Wow, Murphy Brown's old school.
It is old school, and it's fantastic that they have like all these old, all the original. I want to say the original characters back on. The 4 main characters.
I never watched Murphy Brown. They should bring back Parker Lewis.
Oh, that would be awesome. But that was a high school show, though. Or maybe if
it was.
But unless Parker Lewis comes back as a principal or something, that'd be funny.
Or somebody's daddy.
Right. And then this kid turns out to be like similar to him, or her, maybe flip it and have her as a girl.
I haven't watched Dr. Pimple Popper in a while.
I was looking that for the other day. I didn't see it.
It's right on demand.
Yeah.
That's what we do at night. We watch crazy shows.
Right. And Last Man Standing is now on Fox. And they used to be on ABC after issues of, I think, being too one-sided, I think it was. I thought it was always interesting because Tim Allen's character was always more of the Republican side, and the kids were showing the Democratic side.
Yeah.
But I find it really interesting that only the youngest daughter is from the original cast.
Yeah.
The older daughter was changed after like the first season. And now the middle daughter was changed on the comeback just now.
Yeah.
And it's funny because they funnily address it, and they joked about being on a new network.
Oh, that's funny.
In the opening. So it was really kind of entertaining. They poke fun at themselves about some of these changes.
I'm happy for NBA season came back around. Really excited about that.
You know who else is really excited about that?
Who?
Our oldest.
Yeah, she's been bringing home LeBron James posters.
No, she brought home 3 Lakers posters from the book fair.
Yeah, man. I failed as a Pacers dad. She's all about the Lakers and LeBron James.
She loves LeBron James, which
she does.
And
Coco does too.
And that's probably because of her sister, though.
It's LeBron James.
Well, and I think the oldest is also excited because she's going to start basketball in a couple weeks here.
Yep, she's going to start hooping.
Yep, following her mama a little bit.
That's cool. I was never the athlete in high school. Or any school.
They're following their mother on this aspect. I was the athlete. I did soccer and basketball until I had to choose whether to play basketball and soccer at high school because of the same season. And thank God I did not play basketball. I would have rode the bench the whole entire time. Yeah. Because I ended up playing with a future WNBA player.
That's true.
Who is now playing. I don't know if she's still playing but she was playing overseas. I don't know if she's still there or not, or what she's doing, but and women get paid so much more overseas. Yeah, they get treated better, they get paid more. They're treated like the NBA here, and it's sad. Last time I read an article from one of the gals where the women are capped at like the lowest, at the starting level of the men. Yeah,
that's true. I think it's gonna get better though over time
hope so.
Because it's getting popular, it's growing. You know, I can't remember how long the WNBA or whatever has been around, but they've grown a lot since then. But they still got a long way to go.
Yeah, I remember watching Lisa Leslie, and I had one of her posters from SC, and got her sign something when we went up for a football game, and that's when I was playing basketball. I'm like, oh my god, it's her.
Yeah, I think with the popularity of it growing, with the NBA players supporting it too, you know, they starting to give a lot more shout outs. I think it's gonna be big in the next 20 years or so.
I hope so. I hope the gals get treated
hopefully
just as well.
10 years, 5 years.
We could only hope, but with the state of what is happening in politics, you never know with that sucker.
I found myself like I kind of switched, and I've really been like on some women's empowerment because of my daughters. You know what I'm saying? Like,
you should be, because with the shit that's going on.
Absolutely, I should be. I'm not ashamed of it.
In the Senate right now, it makes me. It hurts me.
Yeah.
It makes me want to cry for my girls and their future.
Yeah.
Because it's just damaging.
It is. I think, like I said again, especially having daughters, when you have more than one daughter and you have only daughters,
right?
You know.
But I hope we can influence our nephews. Not saying my sister doesn't do a fabulous job with her boys, but at least hopefully helping instill in them that the whole thing where, boys will be boys. If you haven't harassed one gal, you haven't been harassed. You know, it's okay.
No, that's dead.
I know. I just hope that we can help influence that when a gal says no, it's no. And you don't touch people like that without permission for the most part.
I don't know how we can influence it, but we are here to reassure that they know what's up.
But like just making sure that they treat women with respect on that aspect, even regardless of whether you have alcohol in you or not.
Yeah. I'm gonna stay on them. I'm gonna definitely do my part as a bona fide uncle to teach them how to, respect women.
Right.
Respect themselves too.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Same thing goes for the girls.
Right. Have enough, and sometimes in some of those situations, you can't literally do anything because you're overpowered, but you may have said no, and they don't take your no for an answer.
What do you mean?
Well,
you mean like in a situation?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah,
if someone's coming and they tell them no, and they can potentially have more physical power over a female. We're
gonna teach our kids to just kick people in the balls off top. If you feel uncomfortable, just kick them in the balls.
That's why they take Taekwondo.
Yeah.
That's why I'm like, okay, if you're a black belt.
Somebody looking at you crazy, kick them in the balls.
Well, it's cool because with our place, they go from black belt to start working on certain more Hapkido, which is more of holds and different moves that way. And I'm like, well, if she's there, she can do it because I know she can get herself out of trouble.
Yeah, we definitely don't want our kids to be confrontational, but they will
be able to protect themselves.
Be able to protect themselves and know when to draw the line and when to defend themselves.
And maybe potentially defend another sister.
Yeah.
Or someone who
a
needs
friend.
A friend.
You know what I'm saying?
I meant like sisterhood.
I always tell Tracy, don't ever let anybody around you bully somebody.
Right.
You got to step in. Like, you're tough.
Right.
You know what's up. You got to let these kids know.
Right.
Stand up for people.
I think sometimes she's shy in that aspect.
I think she can be too.
I think it's just learning to find her voice is what she has to do.
Yeah.
I think we all have that urge, but you won't know until you're actually put in that situation whether you can do it or not.
And maybe she has to see one of us do it, to understand how to confront someone in a difficult situation or uncomfortable situation.
Right. But one thing, you might be pissed about a situation, but doesn't mean you need to verbally attack someone.
Yeah.
And use hateful words.
Yeah.
Especially when you're an adult to another adult.
Right.
Let's get some big girl panties on and fix that sitch.
This is an interesting age because kids are so kids this age, they're so they're just so fresh. Like I'm surprised. We always talk to Tracy like she's older, she's more mature, and sometimes I have to be like, oh, she might not know what that is.
Right, but it's been nice that she's been asking. Wait, she's like, wait, I don't get it. I don't know what that means. Yeah.
So
I'm like, oh.
So to be able to explain things to her is really fun and really cool.
Right.
This is a great age to do that with kids. Like today, I was telling her about you can't be friends with people.
Right.
To benefit from them, you know. What I'm saying?
If you want, but you have to be a good, genuine
if you're gonna
friend.
be a friend, you got to be a friend.
Right.
Like you can't be a friend just to use somebody, and you can't allow somebody to do that to you.
Right. Right. Definitely.
So those are lessons that we got to teach the kids early.
Oh, I have a feeling I'm gonna have to give that mother-daughter talk pretty early, next couple of years.
I think so too, man. These kids are developing all fast, man. Shit's crazy.
Right, but I hope she's ready for the onslaught of mom here, because I'm not gonna hold back.
Man, you got to be 100% real up front with her.
Let her know the whole sitch.
Yeah, you got to give her the lingo, all of that.
Right.
For real, she's got to know what's up.
And being aware that
I'd rather for my daughter to be overly mature than not mature enough in certain situations.
I would like her to be mentally mature.
Yeah.
If she's physically developed, that's okay. But I don't want her physically mature. Right, she thinks she's old. Let's put it that way. Yeah. Well, for them to not know what I'm talking, you know. If she's developed, and that's things what kills me. I see some girls and I'm like, why are you trying to look like you're 21? You're 16.
Yeah, that's true. And go back to the parents too, man. You can't be letting your kids walk out the house looking all crazy and shit.
I keep having to tell one of my students to put some pants on.
Wow.
She is wearing shorts, but they're awfully short. And then she wears like these big sweatshirts that barely cover her butt, and then her shorts are barely covering her butt.
Yeah.
And so I made a funny joke. I'm like, thank goodness it's getting colder. You might put some pants on. Right. And she's like, I'm wearing shirts. I'm like, but they're not pants.
Yeah. I think we live in a different kind of area too, to be able to explain certain street smarts from a first-hand perspective to kids. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can tell them, but they might not get it because they probably won't even end up in that situation.
Right. And she probably doesn't want to have those conversations, so she doesn't want to ask certain questions. But you know what'd be funny? Is just sit at a restaurant and not maybe a restaurant, but maybe like outdoor patio in a busy spot and be like, and people watch with her and point things out.
That's true.
That would be kind of interesting to do.
That would be. But yeah, we teach our kids to respect everybody. Also teach your kids, I think we talked about this before too, teaching your kids about not, pointing the finger or judging anyone who may look different or carry themselves different. You know, natural handicaps or sexual orientation or anything like that. I haven't had that conversation much with my daughters yet about guys dressing up like girls.
Yeah, but we've had... I think we have a couple. I've had a couple in the high school aspect.
She asked me. She said, or maybe Coco did. Do boys wear dresses? I said, damn, baby. You know what? Sometimes.
Well, because Will Smith's son was doing the skirts, but I don't think he's necessarily.
Yeah, I didn't say like it's normal for a guy just to go put on a dress. I didn't make it sound like that.
Right. Unless you're wearing a kilt, but that's a totally different story.
Well, hey, baby, some guys do.
I know some guys do.
Why? We'll talk about that later. You know what I'm saying?
I don't even know why.
I don't know why. I don't know.
But you know what? They haven't brought up anything. We have a couple.
They want to be pretty.
Right. They want to feel the breeze through their legs.
Yeah. There you go.
I'm surprised we haven't got any questions about or conversations with. We have a couple of friends around here who are in same-sex relationships.
That's interesting. We haven't, and I think
I know we've had briefly conversation before, like saying, "Oh, mommies can, girls can marry girls, boys can marry boys, or girls can marry boys." Right. I know we've had something basic level on that.
Yeah, but they never asked either, though.
No, but I think maybe because we have a couple of friends who are same sex.
Yeah,
but they're mostly girls. I don't think we have any two males though.
Don't.
I have friends, but they're not in the area that are from high school.
I know some people, but I wouldn't necessarily call them friends, though.
I have some high school friends.
Acquaintances from friends of friends.
Yeah.
You might see them at a party or whatever.
Right. But I think it's just that we have much more, I guess, female dominated around here. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, seems like it.
Because I know we've got two right off the top of our head that I can think of that they've been, I don't want to say exposed.
Maybe not. Maybe that's just the folks that's in the crowds that we kick it with. You know what I'm saying?
And it's okay.
Yeah, it's whatever.
Right, we don't hate.
They all cool. Yeah, I get along with everybody, man.
They're a lot of fun, though.
Yeah, I just like hanging out with people, period, man.
We like hanging out with cool people.
Yeah. But I definitely don't want to get in a situation where I'm getting hollered at, though. You know what I'm saying? Like, that wouldn't be cool.
What do you mean hollered at?
Like if I was just at a party and getting hit on by some guy or something. And I'm so naive that I wouldn't even know.
You're naive? Well,
I'd be like just carrying on conversation.
Well, you're naturally flirtatious.
So you saying I'll be flirting with him? I ain't gonna flirt with him.
No, I don't think they may, just playful banter. Like you're joking around with somebody.
Yeah.
And some people take that as like flirtatious.
Yeah. That is true, I guess, though. Yeah, that's how I kick it, though. You
were like that to begin with.
Yeah.
But it's when they say, like, put the hand on the shoulder type of thing.
That's not true.
No, but it's not saying it's true, but, like, you can see that they might be more into it, where it's how they leave the hand on the shoulder or touch your forearm in a certain way.
Yeah. If another man touched my forearm, I think I'll get the hint.
Like you
give me a pat on the back. That's
totally different. But I'm saying like on the shoulder, like, and leave it on the shoulder.
Yeah.
I don't see most straight men doing that, or men doing that to someone they're not
feeling
like that aspect. I'm like, if you're feeling it, like I'll leave my hand on your shoulder and just kind of hang on you that way.
Yeah.
And if a guy's doing that,
maybe I need to reevaluate how I kick it with people. Because I'm like, I'll give a bowl, slap on the back, shoulder, you know
that's
what I'm saying?
fine.
But I don't want nobody to take it the wrong way, though.
I don't think people will take it the wrong way. They know you're married.
All right. What about the people I don't know?
They see the wedding ring on your hand.
That's true, I guess.
You would have to be. I think people will be less likely to assume. Like, you would have to be full on coming on to them for them to actually think you're flirting, probably because of the wedding ring.
Yeah, I think I got hollered at one time.
And
I didn't realize it. So probably even years later, in hindsight, I was like, I think that dude might have been hitting on me.
Where was that at? How do I not know the story?
Cause I don't know. I just kind of threw it out. But I was working at this is when I was working at Apple.
Oh shit!
And there's a lot of different kind of people there.
You were married though.
Of course, I was married.
Of course, I was married.
I mean, I don't know where that came from, but anyway,
it might have been a day you weren't wearing your band.
Nah, I always have my band on. But it was a gay guy there, and black dude. He was cool, man. I forget his name, but he's cool brother. And we used to talk about music all the time.
Okay.
And I'm all about music. I talk about music. I get pumped up. I can talk about music for hours.
You get a little giddy.
Yeah. So we was I think we was closing that night. So we closing in the store.
Did he ask to meet up with you later?
Nah, not like come meet me at my place. It was like, hey,
let's go get a drink?
No. It was like, actually, it wasn't even let's meet up. We just happened to close and we walked out together. And we was like trading iPods back and forth. Listen to this. All right, you listen to this. Listen. You got. So, in hindsight, when I thought about it later, I was like, man, we kind of stayed out there for a minute. I wonder if he thought I was like throwing hits at him. You know what I'm saying?
And you sure he was gay?
Yeah, he definitely was. But he was putting me up onto some cool music though, and vice versa.
Did he come back around a lot?
I worked with him.
Oh, he works with you?
Yeah.
I didn't realize you actually worked together.
Yeah. But he knew the deal though. He knew my get down. He knew I wasn't with that. But then he might have just. But I thought it was funny though.
He probably just took it as innocently as you thought it was.
Yeah.
Maybe. A buddy, a bro, type of thing, and that's gay men can have straight friends too.
I guess you're right. And that was, what? Now that I think about it, that was one of my first, if not the first experiences I had having a coworker who was gay or that I was even like friends with that I talked to on a regular basis.
Huh.
You know what I'm saying?
You didn't have any friends in high school that were gay? You know what? You had your head stuck in your headphones.
Yeah, there was one guy. I wouldn't say we wasn't friends, but we was cool. Like I see him in school, he's cool. I think we all knew he was gay.
He may not have.
He knew he was gay.
He may not have stated he was.
Yeah, but we knew what was up though.
Right.
And he was cool. We respected him. We never made fun of him or.
And I think that's what's kind of nice, that a lot more kids are much more comfortable in the skin that they are in.
Yeah.
I wish I was that comfortable in high school. And I wish I was sometimes that comfortable now.
Right. And I think that's another thing with me. I always want to. I'm always into making people feel comfortable too. So
yes,
I open up a lot, and I'm kind of. I don't want to say I'm over friendly, but I'm just a warm energy.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So,
you are.
Yeah.
You definitely are.
Yeah. I feel like I can talk to anybody anywhere.
You're also Mr. Diffuser too sometimes.
I guess so.
You guess so.
I'm a good listener.
Oh, but you help also make sure someone doesn't flip their lid if you know them.
Yeah, I try to at least.
I've seen you in a couple positions doing
Speaking of that, man, I've been communicating with my nephew, trying to get him not to flip his wig.
We're trying to have him come out here, have a change of pace,
change
of scenery,
trying
which
to
would be
get
good.
him out here. I think it'll be good for him to get out of the environment that he's in. You know, I think like we said before, we all deal with bouts of depression. I don't think his case is any worse than anybody else's who's out there, honestly. But I think it's about how you deal with it,
right?
And the help that you seek to try to understand yourself and find yourself.
And I think that's one problem. I think is that some cultures shy away from seeking help.
Yeah, and also I think too. I mean, I can say this because he's my nephew. When you treat people a certain kind of way, that energy comes back to you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like karma's for real, man. Like you can't feel entitled or treat people wrong and then expect everything to be sweet. Like even because he's like me, he's got the same conscience I have. You know what I'm saying? Your conscience will wear on you after a while, and I think it's getting the best of him lately to where he's like, excuse me. To where he's like, you know, man, I just feel like I let everybody down and I'm trying to figure it out. So
and I just have him come here. Let's get him refocused on what he wants to do, and I think that's probably a problem because it seems like I'm not sure he ever really knew exactly what he wanted to do.
Right.
So I think helping him, guide him, and just because you see someone doesn't automatically mean medication.
Right.
And I think that's what some people, talk therapy is fantastic.
It is. I think talk therapy, a change of atmosphere and a change of people who are around you as well.
Right.
You know, you're only as good as the environment that you put yourself into. Right.
And your friends may be
toxic.
Yes, definitely toxic. Or they don't have, you want the extra push, but your friends are doing that and you just fall back in that habit where sometimes you need the extra push and be, I want to do this.
And sometimes your friends don't even know how to give you that extra push because they haven't been pushed themselves or, you know.
Or they enjoy coasting.
Yeah, a lot of people get caught up in that cycle of, just everyday living, waking up, doing the same thing every day, going to work, going home, and dealing with the drama and all of that stuff. So I tell them, man, all the time, like, bro, you can't say that you're tired of living, man, when you haven't even really lived yet, to be honest. You know what I'm saying?
There's sometimes when you get to a point where your chemical balance is so off,
right,
that you can't pull yourself out of that depression. Yeah. So and I've been there where I've been probably a little bit worse than where he's been before.
Yeah.
And it's not fun, and I haven't been in it very often. But after the first time, I was able to, and actually also after graduating high school too, I'm able to recognize my signs a bit more.
Yeah.
That when for now, mainly now, it's when I don't want to be reading, because I read a lot, and it's just for me, and I'm not someone who can actually read like a lot of self-help books or some things like that, because it just ends up putting me to sleep when I feel like it's forced.
Right.
So when I notice that I don't want to do that I'm feeling lazy, I don't want to do much, I'm like, okay, what's going on? Is my cycle coming? Is a flare coming? Or am I just going into another depressive state? Mm-hmm. Sometimes it's quick, sometimes it's not. But it definitely has its cycles.
How do you deal how do you deal with dark time? Do you still have dark periods?
I do, but nothing as dark that I've had two really dark points in my life.
Yeah.
The first one was probably the worst, which I probably should have seen counseling.
Yeah.
But the second time wasn't as bad because I saw what was on the other side.
Yeah.
I wasn't in the right location. I had a living situation that kind of snowballed everything.
Uh-huh.
And I was able to get out of that situation. I came back home because I was out of state at the time.
Right.
And I was able to come back home, and I was just, for that part, coming back home, I was nervous because I felt like I let everybody down.
Yeah.
So that's where I was on that aspect. But I recognized all the signs. I knew where I was at, but I knew I had something on the other side for it.
Right.
So, but now it's just understanding, sometimes I just need a couple days, get extra sleep, maybe get myself to the gym, make sure I'm eating the right foods, not eating a bunch of junk, not drinking a lot, not eating a bunch of chocolate.
Right.
So.
Chocolate's so good. I love chocolate.
If you do dark chocolate, they have a lot of antioxidants in it.
Man, there's too much chocolate in this house.
I'm sorry.
There's never enough chocolate. I'm lying.
Blame Carol. But, sometimes you just need a couple bites. That's all you need. Just something to curb the craving.
I don't think I have. Do I deal with dark periods today? I don't necessarily deal with dark periods, but I deal with.
Sometimes you have a dark day.
I guess so.
But yours are much shorter. Mine can. I don't think mine lasts really longer than a week.
I have uncomfortable moments. I guess we say.
I think it's one of the time I keep bugging you. I'm like, are you okay?
Yeah.
Are you okay?
And I appreciate it too. But yeah, for the people who even, listening and look at what we do on social media and think everything is sweet, it's not always sweet. Like you just heard my wife say, I have my dark days too. I don't even realize it sometimes, but I do. What do I do to pull myself out of it? I don't know, man. Maybe just try to sit back and think, regroup, meditate, go for a walk.
Yeah, you do walk quite a bit.
Listen to some music. Listen to things. That's my thing. I love to listen.
Yeah. You kind of hole up for a day.
Yeah.
And then I always make sure I'm like, because sometimes I don't know.
Yeah.
Or understand what's going on.
Right.
But you're pretty quick to come out of it.
Sometimes it's hard to explain. It's just a lot of thoughts.
Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely a thinker. I'm always thinking of things and formulating ideas in my mind.
See, most of those I have to turn my brain off. I have to watch things.
Yeah.
My brain runs too much that I if it's dead silence, I can't get my brain to turn off.
Yeah. I'm the same way. I go to bed with headphones on.
I go to bed with the TV on. But I put the TV on the timer because if it runs all night, it keeps me up.
Yeah.
So that's why I use a timer on our TV. You think I'm crazy sometimes.
Interesting thing about me. I go to bed with the headphones on.
I know. You lost one last night.
I did, but I found it under the bed.
Yeah. But sometimes when you go to bed with me, which surprisingly is very rare nowadays.
It's not rare.
That we go to bed at the same time?
Yeah, that's true.
We're usually about an hour off or so. If the TV's not still on, he'll have headphones or he'll watch TV with me.
I mean, that's only because I'm with the girls most of the day, and creative time for me is when everybody goes to bed.
Right. Or that no one's around.
That's my lab hours. Like I go in there and who's the dude that made Frankenstein? What's his name?
Frankenstein?
Frankenstein?
It was Dr. Frankenstein.
Oh. Yeah, that's what I do at night.
And it's it was called The Monster.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, everyone gets it wrong. It wasn't for,
Oh, I thought it was the other way around.
No, it's Dr.
Anyway, I get my Frankenstein on at night around 8:30, 9 o'clock, 10 when everybody goes to bed.
Sure it's not Jekyll and Hyde?
That too. I turn into a different person at night. So watch out. Yeah. Anything else you want to talk about? Or did we talk about everything?
We talked about a lot tonight.
We did.
Shout
out to Katie Porter.
Woo. Shout out to the Farhats, man.
Yeah, the Farhat family.
You're awesome.
Much love to y'all, man. I love them.
We went to our first, not debate, congressional fundraiser. Thank you.
Yeah. Y'all know I've been getting deep in this politics game.
We're trying to help flip the 45th.
And flip the 45th and flip a brick. No.
Well, I have issues with our current because she 99% of the time votes with Trump.
Yeah, that's what they say.
Well, it's scary. They but they show you every time she's voted like along the party lines and along with what Trump wants.
Yeah.
So
I still keep my guard up for these politicians, though.
But you could literally see. Well, for someone who's actually there, you can see their voting record.
I feel like if you could tell somebody what they want to hear at the drop of a hat, off of a question, based off a question or a comment that they might have, you have a good shot at being a pretty damn good politician.
Right. I'm not good on my feet like that.
Unless
I know.
Maybe I can run for something one day.
Run for school board. Our school board, the people on our school board have been on it since I was in high school.
They're going to be like, man, we ain't let him on school board. He ain't graduated school. Why we going to let him on the school board?
Well, you have a diploma. No,
I got the good enough diploma, baby. It's all right, man. It don't matter what you got. It matter where you at, what you do with your life, man.
Right.
I never been in a job interview and they asked me for my diploma or my degree. You can probably go and legit be like, you know what? Yeah, I got a master's.
But you know what? If they do background checks on you.
That's real.
That's when they get you, because if you say that, or it's on your resume, you say that.
Your school's gonna come up though. I didn't know what degree you have on a background check. Was that on there?
My degree was, when I graduated college, a Bachelor of Science in management with an emphasis in marketing,
But I'm saying that's not going to show up on your background report.
It might. You never know. It might say I have a BS.
The school
you
went to probably.
Depends on what.
I wouldn't think your degree would show up on there.
Depending on what. I have a business administration with an emphasis in marketing.
So kids, on your interview, just lie. Just tell them what they want to hear. You'll get the job. Figure that shit out later.
Then they can fire you for that, honey. If they realize you lied to them, they can fire you on the spot.
All right, lie to them, but know what you're doing when you get in there at least.
No.
To get your foot in the door, man.
No.
Hey, it's hard,
You
man.
can tell them what they want to hear, but don't lie about shit, though.
You gotta stretch the truth, man.
You can word it. There's so many ways. If you even think about cooking, there's fancier terms for things that you can use, like a berry compote or a compote.
I remember I lied on the interview one time. They asked me if I knew how to do something, and I was like, "Yeah, man, that's a breeze."
Did you get the job?
I got the job.
What job was that for?
I can't remember what it was, but I had no idea what I was doing when I got in there. Though I didn't last long at all.
See, they find those things out.
Yeah.
No, but seriously, like those things will come up, and you gotta. It also goes to your integrity. Yeah. You know, just because.
Like you don't want to be scheming on jobs.
Well, even though, like, because when they fire you, they can have things about why they fired you.
Yeah, that's true.
And so that way you may not be able to get unemployment insurance.
Yeah, you'd be scarred.
Because I know I had to do that, and we had a reporting system that where it reported to the reason why we fired them, basically. Because, you know, sometimes you can just fire somebody and not put it in, and then if they do unemployment, they, you know, comes back on you.
Yeah.
But for me, like, this gal, I don't know what's up with her. She ended up going through employee records and basically her and her boyfriend potentially identity theft.
Yeah.
Because she went through and saw someone's social security information. They were trying to get him.
Yeah. And
ended up firing for her.
Yeah.
So, but, you know, I went in and said this is why she was fired, and I think she tried to do unemployment, and it didn't go through because of that.
Right.
Because I get a backup questionnaire from ED, and they're like, hey, what's this? I'm like, well, this is what we did it for.
Yeah.
So, those things can bite you in the ass in the long run.
It will. You ever had beef with a family member before?
What type of beef?
I don't know. Just, y'all not talking. Right? Your family's tiny though.
We are. You can count us all on 10
That
fingers.
was a good question for you.
But my sister and I, we do have quite a few different philosophies on certain things. Where it's on certain topics, I just won't talk to her about it.
Yeah.
What about you?
Yeah, I got beef with my brother.
Your older brother?
Yeah.
Well, your family's got a lot of beef going all around.
I don't know if I wouldn't say it's beef, but
annoyance
and. Just sometimes I'm like, man, I can't deal with you, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm cool on you. I love you enough to leave you alone. You know what I'm saying?
Well, it seems like some of your family members have.
I just don't like bad energy.
Right, you don't.
And when you bring bad energy around, or when you try to, put your bad energy onto somebody else, I hate when people do that.
Right.
And I hate when people try to do it to me. So I shut that shit down real quick.
You have any toxic friends?
But one thing I want to say before that is because it's kind of been on my mind a lot lately, our relationship,
right?
And I'm like, man, I know what kind of dude he is, and I'm like, I need to just forgive him, honestly.
You do, but
because I can't keep holding on to it myself.
No, you got to let it go.
But I don't know how quite yet. I was like, do I call him and just be like, look, man, this is what I started to do. I started calling and be like, look, man, whatever you did, that was messed up.
Right.
It made me upset. But I forgive you.
But will he accept that he did something wrong?
No, and that's what pisses me off. Like, he won't apologize.
So I wouldn't go. I wouldn't even broach it for a while.
All right, word.
Because it's just going to bring up things. It's more of like, it's the incident that you do not talk about.
So we're going to end up arguing again.
Potentially, depending on what it is. If he asks you to do the same stuff, I would say no.
Yeah, I love him, Joe. Hey, I love you, man, but I just can't fool with you right now, man, because you tripping.
Well, he would probably be your if he wasn't blood, he would be a toxic friend, huh?
Toxic friend. Do I have any toxic friends?
Or did you have toxic friends would be the better question.
I've had toxic friends. Have I had toxic friends? I have friends who could potentially have been toxic if I'd allowed myself to
be around them long
enough. I've always known when to hang out and when to move around and shake and not hang out.
Right.
You know, I think that's kept me out of a lot of trouble too.
What? You were the wild kid compared to us.
I was pretty wild, man, but I wasn't like wild in the sense of I was going to jail and juvenile and all that type of stuff. True. But I was wild in the sense that I did things
skirting the line of behavior.
Yeah, I did some crazy stuff in my time, man, and I'm very, very lucky that I didn't get caught up and stuff.
Yeah.
Like that's what made me like really fly straight over these last maybe 10 years or so, is the fact that I've gotten away with so much.
And your wife may kill you otherwise if you pull that shit now.
I mean, now I'm just too old, you know. I'm too old to be doing dumb shit. But before, in my 20s or whatever, I got away with some pretty crazy stuff that in some situations were really close. Even in my 30s, some situations was really close. It could have went left real quick.
Oh, I don't know.
But I just happened to get, be okay.
Man, I really
the grace of God, man.
I really want to know about those.
Nah, it ain't nothing like that. Like, I wasn't never jammed up where I had to, do anything crazy. But, and just thank God, man, nothing really never caught up with me or, had me go to prison or, you know what I'm saying?
Stuff you like stopped that behavior before it got to that point.
I did. There's certain things that, like the straw that breaks the camel's back where you'd be like, yo, all right. I really need to chill out. I gotta relax.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I think even just some of the last situations I found myself in, years ago, definitely made me be like, all right, whatever I was doing definitely is not worth what I have now, or risking what I have now. So
right.
Yeah. So thank God for all the crooks. Shout out to all the crooks who got away. Who's still here, man. Peace to y'all, man. We're very lucky, very fortunate. What about you? You got toxic friends?
I did have some. I got rid of them.
Yeah.
Well, when they, group in height. This is my most vivid memory. I don't think anyone else who I had toxic, I probably didn't stay too long anyways.
Yeah.
But I was in a group, still kind of finding myself.
Yeah.
I think it was my freshman, sophomore year. And just how one of the girls was behaving and what like some of the boys said to me. And one of the boys said to me, and I'm just like, you know what? I'm out.
Yeah.
I don't need to be treated this way. And then next be buddy. I'm out. And I still have one of my girlfriends is super close to that girl now still. Yeah. That I'm just like, and I definitely distance myself away from that. And just when they say certain slurs in front of you,
right,
and they're not
of
that ethnicity to be, even able to say that.
Yeah, you can't even speak on this.
And I'm like, oh my God, if it wasn't her wedding day and we were both in the bridal party, I would be saying something right now.
Yeah.
So, and
that's pretty toxic.
Yeah. And I just avoid those situations. And even if like we're at a party at someone's, there was someone else who did something stupid at a Halloween party like that, and I'm just like, you know what, I'm out.
Yeah,
I'll come back around in a little while.
Yeah, maybe.
So
that's how I am too. If I see some dumb shit, you're like, you know what, man, I'm out of here, man. I might get with you later. I might not, bro, for real. Yeah, that was bogus.
Because I was, it's my friend's party.
If you really my friend, and like we like real friends, I might dip and we'll talk about it later.
Right.
But if it's not even like we're that close, I just keep it moving.
Well, it was my friend's party. It wasn't her, but someone that she was friends with, like someone's boyfriend. And I'm like, yeah, I'll come back around later.
Yeah.
See ya.
I don't have a whole lot of friends. I know a lot of people, but my friends, I can definitely count on my hands. My friends. They're like family. I don't even really call them friends.
Yeah.
But one thing I think that's interesting is the friends that I do have and that I really appreciate a lot are my female friends. I don't know if it's because we kind of just see things different, and it's like we could bounce things off each other. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what it is, but people like Maxie, like she's just cool. You know what I'm saying? Bree, and I just prefer to work with women.
I like Bree.
Yeah.
She's very down to earth.
I think guys, I'm not saying all guys, but a lot of guys are just kind of too rah-rah and just want to get, their agendas are different most times.
Which is funny, I get along better with guys than I do girls most of the time.
Yeah.
So.
It's funny. I get along with everybody, but.
I should say I click more with guys than I do with girls because I'm not into a lot of things.
Outside of the bros, I really, really appreciate my female friends and my female colleagues as well, who I work with.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like lifelong relationships, friendships.
It's good.
Cool folks.
Yeah.
I love to introduce them to you too. They always think you're cool.
They haven't met me yet. They will have a definitely different opinion of me later on once they meet me.
No, everybody always asks too. They think you're very interesting.
Uh-oh. That kind of scares me there.
You gotta be interesting to be with somebody like me at this. For real. Like I could be a little bit all over the place sometimes.
Yeah, a little bit.
But
I can't say that I'm not either. So.
Yeah. You got guy friends.
I do.
So.
Yeah, I had a lot more in high school.
Yeah.
I'll touch base with a couple of them, or I'll see them around during different things. So.
What do you think of friends of opposite sex in a marriage?
Depends how close they are. Depends if they're straight or married.
Right.
Or gay. Kind of, if, straight unmarried, it usually sends up a high sign a little bit. Just be wary of it a little bit on the other side. Just pay attention to the interaction. It could, it could never be anything, but you never know. It could be something.
Yeah. I think there's a certain way to do it too. Like,
right.
You can't necessarily sneak off and go hang with them all day type of thing. You know what I'm saying? Like,
well, I must admit,
I would much rather invite them here to hang out with all of us and we kick it.
Right.
You know?
I'll admit that I'll totally come out and say this. So Rebecca, when you first met her, I'm like, who the fuck is she? He keeps coming around like hanging out with them, and I'm like, please.
I wasn't going around hanging out with them, was I?
You were hanging because I was working. So I hadn't been able to be over there yet.
Oh, okay.
And he's like, and I'm like, oh God. And I'm like,
I know, I'm taking the kids over and
taking the kids over. I hadn't met her yet.
Right.
And then I'm like, is her husband there? And
he's like, nah.
And I'm like, what the fuck is going on?
That's crazy though. That is crazy.
And I didn't say anything yet because I'm like, I don't know this girl. And then I meet her and I'm like, okay, I'm wary of this girl, not so much as more. And, getting to know her, she's probably one of the coolest girls, and her husband's awesome also. Right. So I'm just like, but now that we're hanging out, when we hang out, he's there now all the time too. Yeah. So I'm just like, oh my God, what is going on?
I definitely wouldn't put myself in a situation where all of us couldn't be in. You know what I'm saying?
So I was much more thankful, and that's
awesome funny
couple.
though. I can see that. I can see how you would think that. Or
well, I started. I'm like, who the fuck is this person? Right. Why is she hanging?
Right. And why are they got family night and shit? What the fuck going on?
Right. And like, I'm not invited. Yeah. So no, but he's like,
I wonder how Dr. P felt. We should ask him that.
I didn't ask him that.
We're going to ask him that on the podcast.
Because one time, what was it? You're like, oh, I think she's going to be great. You'll totally like her. And I'm thinking, oh, great. She's going to be one of the chicks that... Because he said this to me before about other girls. That, like, of your guy friends, oh, his wife is so awesome. And I'm like, yeah, we didn't really click.
She ain't that awesome.
Right. Or, like, if I tried to reach out because they are friends. Right. Or because you and her husband are BFFs, and I try to reach out, and I'm just like, oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
So, but
that's funny, man.
I don't think they know that.
I'm sure they don't.
No, they don't. Well, yeah.
That's hilarious, though.
And she's gonna crack up.
I know.
Because I bet you when Dr. P listens, he's gonna be busting up.
I know. Because it's funny. I never thought about it, but until you just said something like, damn, I wonder what Pete thought about that. Because if some dude was hanging out with my wife in my house, right, with his family,
right,
And
we're both at work. You know what's really fun?
You met him at work. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, what the fuck?
And he's at working long hours at
he
like
lives
the
around
hospital.
The corner. What the hell? What you mean?
Right. And it's really funny because that sounds like my godparents and my parents, where I think it was my godfather and my mom were able to play tennis and have drinks at this place. And then my dad and my grandmother come in. They're like, they've been drinking for like 2 hours already. Yeah. But I think mom and dad were already married by that time. But it's just really kind of funny.
I think that's another thing that we can kind of go back to my personality and saying that I'm open, I'm warm, I'm inviting, right. That's just how I get down, man. And we kind of we just hit it off. We was cool.
Right. Well, I think that's one of the things I know that's your personality, and I think even when you're touring, my issue wasn't with you. My concern with you,
right?
It was the other people around.
Yeah. To
make sure some chick kept her hands off.
Yeah, and from that experience, I've learned you gotta put a cap on it too, though.
Yeah.
There's a certain you can only go so far before people start to get the wrong idea.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
There were some people I met out there that were really, really genuine, and we still talk to this day. Shout out to Kenzie, some more people in Wichita, my folks in Ohio. Still talk to this day, but then you can tell what the intentions of some people are by just having a serious conversation with them.
Right. And it's just, you're in that environment, people want to meet you. Like, even when you're touring, like, meet everyone who's performing, and you're in a room, and people may be drinking. You never know about how handsy a chick can be.
I always, I never give myself the credit for what people may look at me as an artist. I just feel like I'm just like everybody else. You know what I'm saying? I talk to people the same way. I don't carry myself that way.
Right. Well, I think that's why people gravitate towards you.
Maybe so.
Because you're down home guy.
But that's one thing. I don't know. I'm not even gonna change it. That's just me.
Yeah, it is. You're a down home guy that you can relate to almost everybody.
Yeah.
So
I think I in that aspect I got to really meet some of the best people I've ever come across. Right. Just having that attitude and just chopping it up when I'm just talking to them.
Right.
Yeah. But like you said, you can tell the intentions of some people.
Yeah.
And when you see those intentions, you're like, all right, I got to put a cap on it.
You're like, you stay over there. Yeah. Hey, buddy, come on over.
Yeah. You might need like a life raft. Somebody come save you.
I know. It's like those blind dates where, you always tell your friend where you're going. You're like, okay, at 10 o'clock, you are going to text me or call me and do a check-in with me. I'll be like, oh, I'm sorry, I got to take this.
Yep. So, I think we're at the end of the show, baby. You got any shout-outs you want to give, babe?
Shout out to Dr. P and Miss Rebecca and brother Farshad.
Mm-hmm.
Did I say his name wrong?
Farshad.
Hosted today Katie Porter event at their parents' fabulous home.
Right.
So nice to open up to everyone. Great time. Got to learn a lot.
That's right. Who I want to give a shout out to? Shout out to everybody who's been tuning in.
Yeah. Thanks, guys. We appreciate it.
We can't stress this enough, man. We really want to get you guys to leave more comments and subscribe and like, and we appreciate all the shares and stuff that everybody's doing.
And we are up on Facebook now officially.
Yep. We're up on Facebook, but I can't stress the fact enough that how much the comments and the subscriptions and the likes and all of that means a lot.
It does.
People are paying attention, so we want to make sure we keep giving y'all what y'all want and keep bigging y'all up. Y'all keep bigging us up too. I want to give some shout outs to everybody who helped me with this Lava Lamp Zone project. I had to cut down the songs on it. I asked a couple of people because it was initially going to be 14 records on here. But I asked some people, got some feedback from people. They like, man, you should really just make a short album like everybody's doing right now. There's no need to put everything out at once. So,
wow.
I said, all right, if that's what y'all want, that's what I do. So, I want to give a shout out to Il Brown, out in Chicago.
He's in Chicago.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
I want to give a shout out to the colleagues. I want to give a shout out to my brother Tigo out in Tennessee. my homeboy Diddy up in Detroit. And I also want to give a shout out to my man like Productions down in Louisiana. Keep always lacing me with heat. Bree Howard, Fleazy Skywalker, and everybody else who had a hand in it. Whether you came by the lab or shout out to Deuce.
Woo woo.
We got a great record that's gonna go on there.
You did one with him?
Yep.
I didn't know you were actually ever doing things.
So we're gonna drop this, and then we're gonna drop another project later. It's called Longevity.
Cool.
It's coming right after this. So yeah, get ready for the Live Lamp Zone. We're gonna do a lot of cool stuff with it. Cool. And I'm about to start getting in my media bag some more, shoot more film.
Hey, when do I get to see it or hear it?
I'll give it to you soon. It's almost finished mixing. So
cool. Sometimes I'm always the last person to know these things.
I know. I always feel like you don't want to hear it.
I do want to hear it.
That's true. That's true. I know you do, but I don't know. I'm like, man, my wife don't want to hear this shit.
I listened to it to the Pinata album. I think it's probably the most,
true.
Probably the roughest one you've done.
Yeah, one of them, definitely.
At least topic wise and censorship.
Yeah. So yeah, that's almost done. Yeah, so this podcast is brought to you by us, and it's also brought to you by the G Connection. If you need printing or garments, 1 piece to 1,000 pieces, man. No orders too big or too small. Send us your prints, and we will print them shits. Sweaters, hoodies, it's getting cold, man. Y'all need some hoodies, y'all need some crew necks for the fall. Yeah. If you are going on tour as a band, if you're doing shows, let me do your merch. We'll get you together. Shout out to the colleagues again. Taking care of them. Shout out to Vince Carter playing in Atlanta.
Woo woo.
Yeah, look for him wearing the colleagues merch. What else we got? I think that was it. All right, we're gonna get out of here, man. I'm gonna go, wash my feet, man. It's your boy G-Wiz
and Mrs. G-Wiz,
and this is I Need Love Q&A podcast. To the next time, what kind of song should we leave them on this one? Because we got to put something at the end.
Do an empowerment song for flipping the 45th.
An empowerment song for flipping the 45th. All right, word. We're going to get into something that is powerful right here. Something
that gets you up and moving.
All right, word. Twerk that booty. Coming right up. All right, till the next time, man. We check y'all later. Peace.
Out.
Keep your mind on your own, man, and trust nobody but yourself and play no win, cause this life might end behind some bullshit that's all too familiar. In this land of smoke and mirrors, don't know what to believe. They're telling lies on television nowadays. Even heard they killed the doctor, had the cure for the AIDS. Elevate my mind from paper chasing foreign on blades. Slow down a little bit, big dog, I got children to raise, and I know time don't wait for no man. Round of applause, let the congregation say amen. I've been dealing with the same trial tribulations just like you, fam. My partner just lost his nephew, he ain't talked for weeks, but he's strong. And he know right where I stay whenever I need my shoulder to lean on. I cry on, cause men shed tears too. Pour out liquor, R.I.P. tattoos, cover my brother JJ body. And we just won't survive, trip out, grip wood, and live good. And try to bring some hope back to the neighborhood. These lives, lust, and frivolous ways. Live, die, for paper to chase. Why can't I escape this life long circle of fate? Lust, lies, frivolous ways. Die, live, for paper to chase. Why can't I escape this life long circle of fate? Say, dog, my everyday life be on my back like a transport pack. No design up in the MCM, just for some shit that's interesting enough to discuss amongst mature men trying to pave a way the best way we know it. I going in to penitentiary, y'all ready to win it, missing ghetto children. Bring back all the girls, man. My daughters depend on me for survival, and the law say I can't protect my home with none of my rifles. These be To me, no opposition, got no rivals if you cross that line. Hope you prepare for the afterlife. Fool, God bless you, gazoon tight. Right hand do right, left hand do wrong. Crack it 85 and still some people ain't never moved on. Bodies in the bandos, corners filled with candlelight visuals, cause boys look like a mando. Too much to handle, put up your hands, bro, is you a man? I hope, let me know, cause I can't take the blast.